Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching. So we've got part 2 of this D110 John Deere, working on it today. Part 1 I left y'all kind of on a cliffhanger where we found that the flywheel magnets were bad. One of them was anyways, and it had detached from the flywheel and was causing an issue to where everything was dragging. So I found that out after I did the entire rebuild of the engine, which is kind of unfortunate, but you don't know how that flywheel is going to be if it damaged any other magnets while it was in the process of doing what it was doing. So pretty much the block is new, or the block, everything except for the block and crankshaft and the connecting rod and the piston have been or in the process of being transferred over. And I find a little bit of some issues and whatnot going into this, finishing this rebuild, but stay tuned. We'll kind of keep working on it and get this D110 back up to its former glory. I mean, it's only doesn't even have 80 hours on it, so well worth the time and the effort put into doing what I have done so far, although it was a lot of unnecessary work. I was going to have to do some engine work to it anyway since it was in pieces. So let's go ahead and get started and hopefully finish this D110 up here in part 2. Remember, this is the mower that y'all voted to swap an engine on, and I appreciated all the comments, and I was dead set on putting the V-twin in this thing and calling it a day, but I saw that all the internals of the engine were good, and so I wanted to go about rebuilding the original engine to make it look stock as opposed to putting a bigger one on it and saving other engines for other tractors out there that will need it. So that was the reasoning behind that. I would like to do a vote again someday, but that V-twin's I've got a mower for the V-twin already, so just got to get around to it. But anyways, here's part 2 of the D110. I hope y'all enjoy it. So I keep trying to convince myself that all the work that I'm doing is for good. This block just feels like it's a lot cheaper than the block that I put on it. So I'm trying to chalk everything up, guys. Make me feel good about myself. But what does make me feel good, I did put a new battery in it, and it is turning over, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead and put the coil on, do the valve adjustment, and carburetor, and that should be about it. And we're going to put oil in it too. Oh gosh, let me take the oil dipstick out so I don't forget that. Fuel pump, which means I'll have to put the engine cover on it most likely, unless the fuel pump is not attached, which I don't think it was. I think it's over here. Yeah, it's over there. So put the fuel pump on. 75 hours again, so service. I don't know how to clear that out, but I'll have to look, and we'll give it a go. What do you think? I think we got it. My one concern is that the sump gasket leaks, but if it's just weeping a little bit, I'm not going to worry about it. As long as it's not leaking like a sieve, I'll be fine, or a sieve, whatever you want to call it. Let me get those parts on and we'll start this thing up, hopefully, after I've done a lot of unnecessary work. Alright, y'all, let me give you a look around. I got everything back on like I mentioned. Carburetor, throttle plate, mocked up the fuel pump here, everything except for the engine cover basically for right now. I'll pull that out of the way for the moment. Exhaust, valve cover. We'll see what leaks, if anything. I'm hoping that the sump is not going to leak. That's my biggest question. But we will see. I don't see any leaks as of now, which is a good sign. So I think I've done everything like I need to. Let me crank it up, see if it'll run for us. It's probably either going to smoke like crazy or smell weird, which y'all won't be able to smell it, but let's see. Interesting. So it's doing some weird stuff, and I don't know what it is doing with kicking back and whatnot. It's like it wants to run, but it won't. Weird. Try it one more time here. That's doing some weird stuff, ain't it? It's almost like the timing's off, which it could be if it sheared that flywheel key with the magnets and all. I'm not like I said, I'm not completely sure. Let me grab my No? Keys intact. Keys intact, so I don't know exactly what it's doing. I wonder if it's just got a bunch of WD-40 and mess it's got to get out of it. Oh, man, I don't know. Unless it's something with them magnets, which I doubt, because that's more for the charging ability and the polarity and all that mess. So it's almost acting like a timing issue, but I got the timing right and the valves are right. So I wonder if it's pushing WD-40 in there. So let me, I'm going to take the car or the spark plug out because it's acting like it's trying to push some WD-40 or something in there. Because it's trying to run, but it's not getting the correct fire from what I can tell. So let me do a little bit more work and I'll rejoin you. Alright, I sprayed a little carb spray. I'm just going to keep this rolling. Hopefully we'll have some sort of fire action going on here. If not, I'm going to do a little bit of research about the flywheel magnets and see if they cause for any issue here. Man, it's giving me some serious kickback, isn't it? Let me do some research and let me see what I can find. I'm a little upset, honestly. I was hoping that doing a block swap would work, but apparently it's like it sounds like it's off timing or something. And I hope that's not the case. Alright, y'all, I know what it is. So, if I still had the flywheel to this engine, it would work. But I don't. Here's the deal. You see where the crankshaft is on this 20 horsepower here? See it like this right here? So again, we're pointing toward the back here. Now the bottom part of this crankshaft is pointing toward the side. You see where the keyway is? Let's take a look at this engine. And Henry with Mowers and Blowers, I know, had this issue a while back with getting timing right on engine blocks and stuff. On this block, see that? And that, they're lined up in sync. So what I have successfully done is throw this thing 90 degrees off. So it's never going to start and run with it being 90 degrees off timing. Now, what I am potentially going to try and do, because I'm going to have to break down this engine anyways, is I'm going to come out here and look at this Husky 17.5 horsepower and see. I got to take the engine cover and stuff off of it, but I want to see if it has the correct, or if it's 90 degrees off on the on its deal here, because if it is, then I can take this flywheel off and probably put it on that engine, as opposed to having to rip apart this entire engine again. Like I said, I don't have the flywheel anymore to this engine. God only knows what I did with it. I'm going to look one more time, but excuse me, y'all, sorry. That is my issue. So the timing is different on these engines as opposed to the ones that I just did. I thought it was the flywheel magnets. I did some research and they were like, one flywheel magnet's not going to make that much of a difference. Sorry guys, I'm not crying. I'm got something in my throat. But that's what's going on. So I should have just I am creating so much more work for me. Oh my goodness. So let me wrap. I'm going to clean this garage up because I'm done for the day. I might pull this Husky in and just check, just for peace of mind. But man, we'll wrap up part one here. Alright y'all, this is the Husky that I was mentioning. Like I said, it's got a broken ear right here for the mounting bolt, or for one of the mounts. So I was going to have to do some engine work to this anyways. I might as well go ahead and do this as opposed to undoing all of my work. I do not want to do that. So for that block. So good news. This flywheel is a 90-degree flywheel, if you want to call it that, which is great. So I'm going to get it off. I will put it on the John Deere and see if we've got some fire then. We should, because there's, like I said, I put the timing marks and everything right. I got it on video. So it sounded like a timing issue and about drove me crazy until I found out that the shafts were made a little bit differently, therefore the timing. But this should be the same as what's on that mower out there, or that John Deere block. Lesson learned. And we'll see what happens. You'll see this flywheel on that John Deere here in just a second. Alright y'all, like I mentioned, this is just a mock-up, but we're just going to see if this thing will run like it needs to here. Hopefully it does. With it being 90 degrees, the correct orientation of the flywheel now. Let's see what happens. Alright, I've got low compression here. As you can hear, it's trying to crank, but it won't fire for me. Yeah, it's got a head gasket leak. So what I thought I could do to fix it is not fixing it. So I'm gonna have to take the head back off and see what I can do with it. So let me go ahead and do that and see what happens. All right, y'all. Let's see new head gasket. So. How upset am I didn't put the spark plug back in. All right, let's do it now. Good. I think it's leaking oil like crazy down the valve cover. Maybe not. Maybe it just has some to burn off. That's encouraging though. I gotta figure out the whole deal with the flywheel though. Wonder if I can put this old because the way that the flywheel fan and everything mounts is a little bit different, but we got it running, guys. That's, oh boy. I think we've cleared the hurdle, guys. I am so happy. Thank goodness. So let me just kind of settle down a little bit, and we'll go through the next steps here in getting this thing fixed and ready to cut some grass. All right, y'all. Well, I just cut the grass with this. I've put a valve cover gasket on it. I let it sit all weekend. Everything's sealed. I don't see any smoke drips or anything of that nature coming from the valve cover, which is a good thing. So that works. Obviously, I go very liberal on my valve cover applications. Oil leak wise, I don't see really anything. I might see a little drizzle at the sump gasket, but it looks like it's holding, and I don't see any sort of anything concerning there. It does have a little bit of a WD-40 aroma to it, but that's because I sprayed a ton of it in there. Let's check the oil real quick. Hopefully it's not gray or anything. No, I mean, look how clean the oil is, guys. I have, so this had, what has it got now on it? 76.3. It had 75.8, 75.7 on it when I was running it, when I cleaned it, or, you know, finished the rebuild that I didn't end up needing to do. Thing's got a nice little thump to it. I don't know if you'd call it nice. It actually sounds a little concerning, but figured the thing would blow up. It's not smoking or knocking or anything like that. You hear a little bit of a valve slap, but nothing like crazy atypical or anything. I noticed when I do crank it up first, I'm just finding my tripod for y'all while I'm talking. When I do it first, crank it up, it seems like it does. It wants to kick back, and it's not the compression release. I think it may be, I may have put a head gasket from a 31,000 series Briggs instead of a 33,000 series Briggs on it, so that might have a part in it, a part of the thumping and everything. But I figured that the thing would blow up or have some bad damage if that didn't work. Like I said, I cut my entire yard, which is about a 35 to 40 minute jaunt with a riding mower, and it did beautifully. The more I ran it, the better it ran. So let me crank it back up. This is a warm start. We'll just kind of blow off some pine tree residue on the driveway here and keep on rolling. You can hear it. It's a little loud. You hear a little bit of a nothing atypical of a Briggs. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the thumping noise that I'm hearing. I'll lower the deck a little bit and we'll just kind of ride up here, but it only happens when I got a bunch of load on it. Here we go. I'm just going to give it a little bit on the hydro and see if we can replicate it. Whoop. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. The governor kicks in. Like you hear it a little bit right there. one thing about it, this thing is fast. About it is it's set up to go fast in reverse. That's pretty typical of all John Deeres. Grass pretty good too. Good point. Throttle it down. Listen, I mean, it'll even idle. It even idles really well. It's just funny. It's just funny. It's got a little rumble to it. But you know, you can kind of hear a little bit of thumping there, but that's just part of, I guess that's just part of the way that the governor's kicking in with the load. But the governor's working great. Gosh, everything's working great on it. The headlights work. So, I mean, it's not even backfiring when you shut it off, so I can smell the aroma of WD-40 like I mentioned. And it doesn't run as smoothly as if it's a brand new lawnmower. I mean, it's a 2015 model. For all intents and purposes, I believe it's the block was from a 21 horsepower, so it was a 3.3 something, 33,000 Briggs as well. So obviously when I sell it, I disclose everything that I do to it. So I'll tell these people, hey, look, or whoever buys it, look, I did an engine rebuild. It's got a good 30 to 40 minutes on it running. Oil's clean, drives good, runs good. You might hear a little thumping. But I've had much newer Briggs that have run worse than that. So maybe not newer Briggs, but you know, a lot of the cheap new engines run worse than what y'all just saw there. This is running good. I'm very, very happy with the rebuild. The fact that there's no leaking going on. The fact that it's running good, driving good, cutting good. And especially since it was really something that I didn't need to do completely to the extent that I did. But it made a great video out of it. So getting late this evening, I'll clean this up and we'll list it for sale. Probably a $900 to $950 mower. Dare I say $1,000? I don't think so. I don't feel confident selling it for $1,000 with all the engine work that I did with it. If I get $800, I'll be happy for it. So let me clean it up. I'll give you all a final look, and we'll end this video. Hope you all have enjoyed it so far. All right, y'all. There's the beauty shot of the John Deere. We have finished it. I have put over an hour, almost an hour and a half, on the engine rebuild. and it seems to be doing good. All it does is, I guess, a little bit of oil gets past the rings or something along those lines, or past something. On initial startup, it'll blow up a little cloud of smoke for about 30 seconds. And then it clears up, runs good, cuts good, drives good after that. So maybe it'll do it this time. I've had it running earlier today. But this lawnmower is sold as soon as I load it on the trailer and send it to somebody. And I'm getting a Husqvarna on trade. And $750. So I think I can say that turned out pretty good. So that is it for that one. Like I said, it's going to its new home and will be enjoyed. And hopefully I get a trade on it. I think I'm going to get Husqvarna. Runs and cuts and drives. He's been using it. It needs a muffler and I don't know what else. Sounds like it needs a few things. Hopefully not too bad. I know it's nasty too, from what I've been told. So hopefully this is a nice upgrade for him. And hopefully the engine holds up. I'm really curious. Like I said, I put an hour on the engine so far. It's not doing anything differently than what it did when I originally fixed it. But lesson learned on this one. We did a lot of unnecessary work, and this has turned into a really long video. So I appreciate it if y'all have stayed with me this long through this thing. But we got it in pieces. It turned out to just be the flywheel magnets. I was going to have to put a head gasket and stuff on it anyway, so I guess, decided to do a bunch of extra work and transfer everything else, including the sump and everything else on it. I've had it over a week now after I have fixed it, and there's no leaks. There's just a little bit of smoke on startup. Runs good otherwise, doesn't smoke after that. So I'll take it. I think they're getting a good deal on it. If I were to retail it, I would probably list it for $8 to $8.50, just because it does smoke a little bit on startup. But like I said, it runs good otherwise. I've cut my yard twice with it already, so we'll see how it holds up. No problems with it otherwise, though. Just crazy that the flywheel magnet decided to break off on it. But a lot of stuff learned on this D110. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I do want to film a review video on this as well, just so that because this is a very popular mower for people to buy. Just some of the things that I've noticed while cutting a couple times with it. So thank y'all again for watching. I appreciate all the support as always, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. See you then.